Respected dear family members, my pranams to you. Last day I was discussing about Mahabharata, the experiences of Pandavas, Kauravas, Bhishma, Drona, Karna, Vidura, Gandhari, Kundi Mata and Dhritarashtra. Their experiences we are learning exclusively because our life is so short. Maximum we will be living here for about 85 years. During that period, we cannot do trial and error on each aspect, and then from the trial and error, taking the good and adopting in our life and marching forward becomes impossible. So we cannot experiment on every issue and find out the good from that, find out the useful from that and adopt in our life. Such a principle will not work at all, because we have to get involved in variety of systems, variety of work, variety of mission, variety of activities and variety of programs we have to undertake in each unit operation. It is impossible for us to go deep into the subject and find out the truth, find out the good things and then adopt. Impossible. So what generally we used to do, whenever we are taught in a business management, whenever we are taught in the ethical values, whenever we are taught in the philosophical values, generally stories are told, experiences are told and messages are told for convincing the individual to adopt the good from among the good and bad. From among the good and bad, take the good. Say for example, if I would like to start a business of my own, generally I will be referring the experiences of many people all over the world. What are the things he faced when he ventured to start a business like I am going to start. So my knowledge from the colleges and also from the research may not be enough for myself to march forward. Experiences of others will help a lot for my moving forward. Others' experiences. If I would like to start a business on battery, then I will be definitely discussing about the battery business with other people who are or who were doing the battery business, and how much they were, how much they are successful, or how much they failed, and what are the problems that they will be facing if he starts the battery business. So others' experiences will be a good lesson for us to learn. Exactly like that, when you are learning Mahabharata, remember that experiences of Dharmaputra will be a good lesson for you. But remember that Dharmaputra, Pandavas, Kauravas and others lived thousands and thousands of years ago on this holy land of Bharata. But you cannot adapt everything what they said and what they did during then. You cannot adopt it now, because the world has changed, the environment has changed, the viewpoint of the human beings have changed, the values have changed, the reality has changed. During that period it was cooperative business. Nowadays it is corporate business. Some difference is there, lot of difference is there. So you cannot adopt, and one should not venture to adopt everything what is given in Mahabharata. It is our duty to do addition, deletion, modification and correction. Then take their experiences and adopt in ourselves. When we are watching a movie, as I told you yesterday, within about 2 hours, 15 minutes, we are learning an incident as a story, or an event as a story, or the life of an individual or group of people as a film story, and through the story we are getting a lot of experiential knowledge that we are adopting in our life if we are watching the movie sincerely and seriously. It may be entertainer also, or it may be educative also, it may be family oriented movie also. Exactly like that. Here in Mahabharata, whenever we are learning the experiences, simultaneously there are a number of stories and also messages. Say for example, when you are learning, if you are studying or if you are reading Mahabharata, you can see at one place Bhagavad Gita is coming. Bhagavad Gita does not contain any story. Bhagavad Gita in fact does not contain any experience of individuals. But Bhagavad Gita, 701 shlokas, it conveys you the messages and messages and messages only. Second chapter is Jnana Yoga or Sangha Yoga, third chapter is Karma Yoga, and 12th chapter is Bhakti Yoga, and fourth chapter is Karma Sannyasa Yoga. So, what is knowledge? Absolute knowledge and relative knowledge. Absolute knowledge means Paramarthika Satyam and Vyavaharika Satyam. Paramarthika Karma and Vyavaharika Karma. Paramarthika Bhakti and Vyavaharika Bhakti. All these are explained as messages given by Lord Krishna to Arjuna. In Vatmiki Ramayana Adi Kavya you can see that one. Vasishta Maharshi Vasishta advising Lord Rama. The Rama is the incarnation of Mahavishnu and Vasishta an ordinary human being. Here Lord Krishna is the incarnation of Mahavishnu and Arjuna is an ordinary human being. In Vatmiki Ramayana the human being advised the incarnation, God. In Mahabharata, a god or an incarnation advised Arjuna. God advising the human being. You say God or Lord is all your choice. So the advices are there. And Bhagavad Gita has got pure advice as given in Upanishads and Vedas. That is why it is called in the Dhyana Shloka of Bhagavad Gita, Sarvopanishado Gavo Dogda Govala Nandana. Sarva Upanishado Gavo. Bhagavad Gita is the essence of Upanishad. So it conveys absolute truth of the life and also the messages for making our life glorious. Now, as far as Bhishmopadesham is concerned, Bhishma explains all the truth and fact and essence of life to Dharmaputra in such a way that he will be conveying the message first for reinforcing that message in the mind of Pandavas or Dharmaputra. He will be telling the stories also. Just like when we are dealing the class for the students, when we engage in the class for teaching the students, we explain the message, then we give the story, then again repeat the message and march forward. So the messages, experiences and the stories are conveyed in the classrooms for giving the correct impact, influence of the essence of whatever is told to the listeners. Here too, in Bhishmopadesham, stories are told. In Mahabharata, Veda Vyasa used to advise Pandavas, Kauravas and so on, and then used to reinforce those messages by telling the stories. So stories are there in Mahabharata, not the story of Pandava, not the story of Bhishma, not the story of Drona, but the stories told by Bhishma, stories told by Vidura, stories told by Veda Vyasa. Now you can see when Dhritarashtra was frustrated, one because of the complex in the mind that when he was cheating the Pandavas and he wanted to work in support of the Kauravas because they are his own children. So he had the hidden agenda in the mind that he should support Kauravas, his own children. But he had that feeling that he is torturing, he is harassing the Pandavas. So he was burning mentally, and when Vidura was called for advising and guiding Dhritarashtra, Vidura started giving advice and guidance to Dhritarashtra. I have collected all those points told by Vidura. About 625 messages are there in Vidura Upadesha, of which 485 messages are most relevant, adaptable and adoptable in the 21st century. I wanted to convey you two things. One, all the messages given by Vidura are not applicable on the 21st century. And a major part of the Upadeshas, advice given in Vidura Upadesha, are adoptable, universal truth. So, it was useful thousands of years ago, and it will be useful thousands of years in the future also. Bhishmopadesha is also exactly like that. You know, NBS is the publication wing of a cooperative society of the writers. They have published Mahabharata in Malayalam with a 9 volume. In the 9 volume, about 8,000 and odd pages are there, in which 220 pages are Bhishmopadesha, where he explains every message by quoting different stories of animals. So we should never say that it is the Bhishma's stories. No, it is not the Dhritarashtra story. It is the stories told by Bhishma, stories told for Dharmaputra, stories meant for Arjuna, stories meant for Kunti, stories meant for Gandhari. So you should separate. Almost 1,25,000 slokas are there in Bhagavad Gita, of which 65,000 slokas go with the biography of the Pandavas, Kauravas and those who are connected with them, and almost the same number of slokas will be going for the stories told by these people. Thus we should learn Mahabharata, which contains experiences of people, which also contains the stories told by the people, mainly of belonging to animal kingdom, and also the messages directly and indirectly given by all these people among themselves or one to other. Thus, learning Mahabharata, as I told you yesterday, you have to learn Mahabharata, minimum 20-25 experiences of these people, but 20-25 stories and also as many advices or messages possible. Then you should become a good teacher of Mahabharata. The moment you start teaching others, you will automatically learn maximum. When you start learning the experience of Steve Jobs, you are learning a lot from the experience of an individual. It is a biographical picture like that. When you learn the experiences of Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, when you learn the experiences of Narendra Modi, when you learn the experiences of Mahatma Gandhi, Vivekananda, Shankaracharya, you can also learn the stories told by them. You can also learn the messages, advice given by them to others. Thus, each character in an epic will be giving you their own experience, plus also the stories told by them and also the messages given by them. This is exactly what is meant by Mahabharata. We will be explaining about Valmiki Ramayana in our next speech. Learn thoroughly, teach others. Don't worry whether it belongs to Hindus, Christians or Muslims, or leftist, rightist or Middle East. You learn and teach to whomsoever you feel worth teaching. Whether they take it or not, this is not your business. Your duty you do. You teach others, your children, your wife, your husband, your relatives, wherever you go, you give some messages from Mahabharata, some stories of Mahabharata, experiences of Mahabharata, so that they will become a good Sanatana Dharma follower without superstitions. You should not surrender your thinking capacity, you should not surrender your brain, logical, radical analysis capacity to anybody. Majority of the cases you may be knowing that many Hindu sannyasis, many Hindu leaders, they do not know anything about Hindu Dharma, but they will be teaching you Andam Andena Niyamana Iti. So you saw blind people leading other blind people. In many of the cases, some of the sannyasis and some of the Puranic explaining people, those who explain the Puranas, they are far more ignorant than yourself. They are equal to illiterate. They create their own vision and confuse you and mislead you in the name of spirituality and religion. That is not the real mission of our forefathers in learning and teaching the Puranas and epics. You think yourself and don't surrender your logical analysis capacity to anybody, whether a sannyasi or a teacher. You think why, what, when, where, who, whom, how, then only march forward. Otherwise, Lord Krishna has told, Jnanam Vijnana Sahidam Yat Jnatva Mukhyate Asubhat. Even the spirituality you should analyze with the support of science. Then only you will get rid of the superstitions. This is very important. Think about it and thoroughly, logically, rationally, scientifically analyze each aspect. Reject whatever are to be rejected and accept whatever are to be accepted by addition, deletion, modification and correction. With these words, I express my gratitude. Pranams. Thank you. Learn and teach Hindu Dharma so that we can learn, we can become good citizens of our Mathrubhumi by learning all these things. Thank you very much. Pranams.